Welcome to season number 2.
That is absolutely the best looking NASL screen I've ever seen.
I have to absolutely. Oh, we're still on. We're still on. Emmett, take us off. You crazy, crazy monster. All right, and cue the quads. Excuse me. Anyway, we have colCrunCher in the top middle position. This is Terminus C. In the 6 o'clock position, we have our good old friend sixjaxViBe spawning as the green Zerg.
You know, I am just absolutely excited. I don't know what to expect from Cruncher this game. We saw a build last game where he actually moved out with a really small army. Yep. It was like 4 sentries and a shuttle and like 6 stalkers. Yeah. You know, like any kind of mass Zergling attack or anything like that would have just shut him down. But he knew his opponent was going to be doing his macro thing, so he moved out safely and had an amazing timing attack.
Now, moving over to this map, I mean, that same play is actually still viable. We can see Terminus SE still has that ramp. You can go ahead, force seal that op. We'll see if that happens. Actually, pretty uncharacteristic of Cruncher. We normally see those long, drawn-out macro games. He's the one defending. He's the one taking the expansions and just not doing anything all game. He switched it up this time around and caught Vibe off guard. I feel like this is the map, though, that really plays into his strengths. He can sit on 3 base so early and just macro up a storm, get that death ball, and win against anybody he so chooses to. If you're in Vibe's position right now, I mean, what do you actually do? Are you looking to go 2 base pressure, or you're keeping it standard and playing that 3 base?
You know, I don't think this map is that great for a 2 base pressure, especially cross map. They are cross from each other. It's a long travel distance. So I think it's best just to play it a macro style. But I would, once you get like a 3rd base or something, I would make some roaches. I would put some pressure on these back rocks so Protoss can't just grab that free 3rd base. I would put pressure on him and you know, force him to make extra defenses or make army or something instead of what he really wants to do, which is invest in tech and all that kind of that tree to make that huge death ball.
Oh, definitely understood. We do see that a 2nd probe is going to come in here. Oh my gosh, there will be a pylon placed down, but no, Vibe knows exactly what's going on. Actually, creating 2 pylons, so it looks like a wall's coming up. And look at that. He puts the drone exactly where it needs to be. There's a little slot for a cannon to go down. He doesn't want to get cannon rushed. Oh, my God. Vibe, please. Don't. No, the cannon's going to go down. Oh, this is a devastating place for this cannon to go down. Only a total of 2 drones can fit in there. And I don't know if there's much ability to kill this. Yeah, there you go. 2 drones are the only things that fit in there. The photon cannon will go up in time. And we'll be doing some good damage. Possibly.
I don't think so. I think these 2 drones can pretty much shut it down. It'll be really low on HP by the time it warps in. Especially Zerglings are going to make it up in time. Come here.
All right, so Cruncher actually going to lose this 1 cannon. This isn't good.
Yeah, that was actually a lot invested right there. I mean, 2 pylons, a cannon. You know, I mean, that slowed down his expansion and everything else. So
yeah, definitely. Let's go ahead and look at the relative timings right now. The Nexus is just about halfway finished. We do have Vibe that's completely, well, just started saturating his natural, so he is looking at good in economy. Income tab is 20 to 19. We do see an advantage still for Cruncher, actually, but I'm pretty sure that's going to switch over. There's a little bit of lag time in the income tab. And there you go. Vibe has started getting a lot more income than his opponent, and yeah, I would say that Vibe right now is quite advantaged.
Yeah, one thing I would like to see from Vibe is I would like to see a faster 3rd. I mean, he already knows his opponent's tech tree. He already knows that he went Forge first. He tried cannon rushing him, but he still opted to get that faster gas instead of just grabbing that 3rd base, that extra queen, getting that extra, just focusing on mineral instead of worrying about the tech side of it.
Well, I do want to ask you, is there any reason really to be getting that very, very quick gas at this point in time? We do see him mining from it. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a metabolic boost, but is there any reason? Is there anything that he can do with the metabolic boost?
The only thing it can do is help shut down probe, like scouting and stuff, but he already has queens out. He already has Zerglings on the field, and Zerglings are barely faster than a probe. So I don't really think that it actually plays any kind of role where he needs to get it. He needs to rush for it. I think it's more like, you know, going into, you know, just kind of autopilot where it's like, oh, well, I need this kind of thing, instead of actually trying to read your opponent to where it's like, okay, I need this, but I don't need it now.
I gotcha. So hopefully Vibe, I mean, that's what we were really talking about before as well. Vibe, fantastic player. Look at that APM. It's just soaring 300 and 300 currently. I couldn't even try to get that much APM. But you know what? Sometimes it really comes down to his decision making. At times, he is a very intelligent player. I've actually talked to him multiple times. It's just, it's very, very nerve-wracking when you're playing in a best-of-3 series, knowing that so much is on the line. And, at these high-intensity situations, you can fumble very, very easily if you're not careful.
Absolutely. And it does look like we are going to see a two-base Muta build come out of Vibe. This is like a really old-school type of build. This is something that people did a lot in beta, but not really so much nowadays versus a fast-expanding Protoss.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting build coming out from him. Now, a critical mistake that by Vibe, in his natural, he actually has only 2 drones mining from the left one and 4 from the right one, so he is very inefficient over there. Of course, 1 drone being completely useless. In the meantime, this is so interesting by colCrunCher. A lot of times, me as a Protoss, I'm deathly afraid of something like an early Roach Zergling all-in or early Hydra pressure. colCrunCher just says, I'm not even going to prepare for that. Just get all of my ducks in a line. Go ahead, get my production facilities, although he hasn't even made production facilities. What he's really focusing on, cutting so many corners to get his economy to that optimal speed.
Oh my gosh. This one Zealot that walked in here into the base is actually going to see everything. Which, in fact, he did not make a Spire, and he actually went for a Hydralisk Den with the Hydra upgrade.
Whoa.
I don't know what we're expecting to see here, unless he's throwing down a Nidus Worm here pretty shortly and going to do some kind of aggression with that.
Actually, we are going to be seeing, we can see Ventral Sax being upgrade. We're going to see fast drop coming out of him. Very, very cool play. And colCrunCher, in reaction to that, he's not actually going to throw down a third. He says, nope, I'm going to go ahead and get 4 more gateways. So he's up to 8 gateways off of 2 base.
Wow, that is ridiculous. That's going to be the king of all Blink Stalker builds right there.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a little bit scary. Now we do see 4 sentries are out. The Nexus finally is going to go down for the 3rd. That destroyed the rocks under attack, but it has so much HP. You can see a total of 2,000, and with 3 armor, it makes Zerglings do 2 damage. It's literally, they become sentries. They're just tickle monsters.
Tickle monsters. So creative. We do see Hydralisk are being produced right now. We do have both upgrades or drop coming from the same hatchery. And I don't really know why that is. Why you wouldn't time it so they both finish around the same time to maximize
oh my goodness.
your drop, your strategy. Maybe he just has it timed out to where, he doesn't want to drop until a later point in the game, maybe like the 13-minute mark or 12-minute mark.
I don't know. I think that's a little, no, that's a big mistake, to be honest. I think he definitely should have had both of those in different ones, but now we can see that colCrunCher wants to actually push out. He has only sentries, and this could be very dangerous because Hydralisks are out in the field, and he can easily, Hydra sentries are probably the most one-sided battles you can ever see besides like drones and Blue Flame Hellions.
It's true. And we see a War Prism coming out from colCrunCher, but a Colossus is building, and a Colossus versus Hydra Zergling is so strong. So this is like a race against time right here, to where he really needs to get this drop in and do damage. But see, he should already be dropping now, but he did not have both upgrades going at the same time. We do see that he's trying to surround some sentries with these Zerglings, but force fields do go off.
Very nicely done, retreating all the way back with those Zerglings and just baiting. Look at how much energy now is on all of those sentries. Not that much. I think actually Vibe could have engaged in that position. Oh my god, here we go. The speed is just finished on Overlords. Is he going to be ready? No, all the units are actually going out towards that one Zelnanga tower. Vibe is going to catch his opponent off guard so nicely. This is going to do a lot of damage.
He could not ask for a better position right here. His opponent is so out of position. He's almost in the middle of the map. Probes are running and being picked off. He loses about a third of his probes. He's also going to lose his main Nexus if focused down. Colossus is out, though, for the Protoss.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Actually, there is a counterattack going down with this one more Prism. Zealots were warped in. We can see Hydralisk will clean that up very, very easily. For the meantime, the production facilities of colCrunCher is just going to go down. This is almost like Game 1 was flipped upside down. And that's what Game 2 is going to be. Now, finally, the main is completely destroyed for colCrunCher. And in the meantime, just a lot mass spine crawlers coming out from Vibe. What intelligent play. He's going to lift these, go ahead and place them all around his expansions, making sure that the War Prism does no more damage because he now has static defense there.
That's true. We do see that Vibe did respond to losing his third with taking another third, which is what Zergs always have to do. You lose a base, you just take another one. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's only 300 minerals and a drone. We do have Vibe that actually lifted up all of his units and ran away. That's smart, because if he would have left him there, he would have just been throwing away his army, especially when that second or third Colossus popped out. There's just no way he could have held his army there. So it's really smart by him just lifting it up and just waiting to fight another day.
I have to completely agree. I mean, the theory behind that is that your opponent has been, building massive amounts of units for maybe 2 minutes. You've been attacking the whole time. All right, then your army becomes obsolete. It's time to go and just chill out. It looks like more harass going in the bottom right-hand corner, forcing a cancel upon that one hatchery. In the meantime, there's another warping coming in. Oh my god, Vibe is being pushed apart all over the place. But now finally, Corruptor's going to come out here, kill that one Void Ray, or not one Void Ray, one Warp Prism. Warp Prism is the weakest thing in the game, perhaps. It just dies so quickly. And there you have it. The Zealots are going to die. There is another Warp Prism all the way on the right-hand side, though. But I love this usage of the Warp Prism play by Cruncher. I mean, we don't see it that much. It's underutilized, in my opinion. And I just feel like it has so much capacity to do a lot of damage.
Yes, I absolutely agree. It is way underused. Zerg does not have that great of anti-air, to be honest. It's hard for them to catch up and punish the Warp Prism harass. But we do see that, the gases are up for Vibe's third, and he's just not taking them. He really needs to get on that. Gas is so important in Zerg versus Protoss. You need those higher tech units, because Zerglings only take you so far when they start making that Colossus Death Ball.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you. Oh my god, the bottom right-hand position. We do see the Corruptor was attacking that one more Prism, but then just walks away, says, yeah, no, you're alright. You're alright. You're a cool kid. Nevertheless, we do have a lot of Overlords that are geared up with all Banelings, so this will be a Baneling bomb over top all of the units. We do have Hydra supplementing that, and normally I would say, well, it's going to be tough. The Hydras are good. They do great DPS. A lot of times they just get destroyed to Colossus, but when you have those Banelings over top, it really forces them back so the Hydras can do the damage. However, the big problem arises when if the Hydras can actually catch their opponent. We do see the creep spread very minimal for Vibe. He really needs to get that going ASAP.
For having such high APM, I figured creep spread would be on his to-do list.
Yeah.
I figured he would be on that, and we'd have creep spread all the way to his opponent's base at like the 11-minute mark. But we actually see that he's not even thinking about that. He's just focusing more on, positioning his army and doing smart, cutesy attacks.
Yeah. Kind of weird. And even still, these 5 spine crawlers that are really, really weirdly placed are just chilling there. I thought they would go for defense, but apparently Vibe he wants to cover that ramp. Make sure that sentry garbage doesn't happen again.
That must be the reason. I can't think of another
garbage.
I can't think of another reason why you would have so many spine crawlers right there.
Yeah. Because
they really don't serve a purpose at this point. Like, they don't really serve as defense for any base.
Well, as I said, it's probably for the sentries to be,
Right.
they drop and then
Right.
you can't do that anymore or whatever it might be. But still, I mean, I think there's better uses for that. Now that you have dropout, it's kind of inefficient. But we do see Vibe going ahead, bearing down on his opponent. There are a lot of Colossus over here, though. This is very, very scary. And for the force that Vibe has, I don't know, Jake. This is really, really tough for me to watch.
One thing I have to say is we don't have Blink from Stalkers, so that's gonna minimize how much he can actually spread his army out when they do the Baneling drops. They're all going to be running in, they're going to clump together, so the Banelings are going to be super effective against that. But that is so many Colossus. This actually looks just like...
Oh my gosh.
This reminds me of Season 1. Cruncher, Season 1, right here. Just let's make a huge army that Zerg can't kill, and let's win the game. That's
exactly what he did in all of his games, actually, in Season 1. We do see that Vibe wants to put on the pressure. The first Colossus is going to start engaging. Now, finally, the Corruptor is going to move up. It does look like the Corruption goes down. Now, finally, going into this little tiny choke. This is terrible for Vibe, but now, finally, the Banelings coming on top. Oh, my God, all the sentries are going to go down, and he loses most of them, but it's not going to be enough. Vibe needs to retreat right now. His units are just getting destroyed into pieces. It looks like Vibe is going to walk away. Actually, pretty... Well, I think it actually kind of washed, just because he did lose a lot from that. He did lose a lot of Banelings from that, but Cruncher did sort of lose a lot of units. Let's go ahead and...
Cruncher did lose some units, but the thing is, Vibe has so much money and gas right now. Like, he could make almost any kind of army composition he wants. I mean, he has
Oh.
3,500 minerals and 1,100 gas at the moment, so he could make what he needs.
Hold that thought really quick. There are Dark Templars in the back of the natural cruncher, being so due diligent with his harass. Going ahead, taking out that one natural on top of that. Oh my god, a missed fungal growth. And he might get that one infestor. There it goes down. Oh, this is disastrous. Now finally attacking, bearing down on the 4th over here on the top. This is really bad. Vibe is spread out everywhere. Dark Templar in the 3rd now, and it's going to have a lot of kills. There's also the Dark Templar by the Spine Crawlers. Now finally Broodlords are out, but is it too little too late? His 4th is destroyed. His natural is destroyed. The 3rd is being attacked by one single Dark Templar. 17 kills, 18 kills, 19 kills before it goes down. And now the 5th base, oh my gosh. And Cruncher is taking such a huge lead in this game number 2.
You know, with the amount of kills on those Dark Templars, it brought me back to my Brood War days of, you know, where I would hide under my bed for the fear of Dark Templars at night.
Yeah.
God.
Well, thankfully this game, I mean, in StarCraft Brood War, they would not tell you that your drones were under attack. Literally, because they one-hit everything. They wouldn't tell you. They're like, nah, you'll find out for yourself. It's cool. This game, thankfully, they do, but you know what? It's still just as gruesome. We can see another Dark Templar up to 3 kills, 4 kills now, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Let's go ahead and look at the drone count. 31 drones to 58 probes, and now Cruncher, as we said before, those actions, the deliberate actions that he does, he's going to go ahead, take an expansion rather than trying to end it right here.
Yeah, I mean, finally Vibe is up to a scary army. This is the kind of army Vibe needed, but the problem is it too late? Like, you know, Cruncher's already got his 4th base mining. You know, Protoss is going to be able to warp in tons of units. He has a absolute scary army. Look at that, 3 Archons now in his army mix. Those things can take so much beating, and it's just going to come down to maybe army control and for Vibe to get back in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? It's going to take a lot, I think. Now Vibe is max. He has Infestors out, but they need to join up, which is a very, very long way. Now finally blinking up, these Broodlords are going to be able to do a lot of damage, but they need to get good positioning. They don't want to be over just plain ground. Now finally the engagement is starting up. The Colossus are going to be bearing down. A lot of damage is going down. Looks like the Colossus are actually focusing down on the Roaches and the Hydras. He's target firing them, making sure that they're not going for those Broodlords, which aren't as, well, the Broodlings, excuse me, which aren't as good. Now finally the big blink is coming up. Fungal Growth goes off, and it looks like, oh my god, the Stalker is going to be cleaned up quite a bit, but all the Broodlords are going to be targeted down. There's not enough for the Zerg, and it looks like he will clean up quite a bit. Actually, all the Colossus are going to stay up. Broodlords are really, really good, apparently. Oh
Broodlords are really good. They don't even have upgrades, then they're that good. That's just scary. Man, imagine if you would have got one of those, like, miracle fungal growths off during that. Like, oh my gosh, that would have been so sick for Zerg. That's what he needed. But the problem is all the Colossus are still alive. So that means that any ground force he makes is just going to be even worse. And the Blinks and the Stalkers are actually blinking, and now they're picking off his last 3 Broodlords, and I don't think there's anything Vibe can do at this point to come back.
No, I don't think so at all. The Colossus, having that retention just says my reload is going to be much faster. I can just make Stalkers. I don't have to make those very expensive Colossus, which are 200 gas total. Now I can just make all Stalkers, bear down on my opponent very, very quickly. And here we go, moving into position. Yet again, these Spine Crawlers are trying to scramble, get into position, but they're not going to be there in time. And the Colossus even outrange them. You can see drones trying to attack right now, but Vibe, it looks like he's on his last bit of energy. He doesn't have any way to kill this army. The Colossus are just too much. GG and comes
GG
out of Vibe.
is called.
All right, Jake, so break it